The following program is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. You can request podcast topics, enjoy exclusive RPG and video content, and more. Even just $1 a month gets you gameplay episodes a week early and makes you officially cool. Just like Distrucity, KTL, Passion Killer, 711, Kitty Holbrook, DG, Drake, Starstorm. I'm forgetting somebody. Thomas Austin Jr. Did I say him?
Yes.
Damn. I'm gonna
Just
restart
now.
this. Son of a bitch. And our trash elite, Rob, I suppose, and a guy from Ohio, again, I suppose, for whom this episode bears responsibility. Greetings and salutations. It is I, Jay Chucky, joined as always by the ever ornery The Boy.
You thought it would be someone not ornery, but it was I, the boy.
Douchebag. This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Today we have been tasked with watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is not something I've ever been into. The few times I tried, I bounced off of it really hard. I watched Linkara review the first season or two and discovered that it's about... Well, we'll get into that. And didn't want to, but then a lovely patron paid me to do so. So here we are. I don't think, even if I tried to watch this on my own, I would have gotten past the first season. But enough for now. I have so many thoughts and feelings, and honestly, I don't want to spend this whole podcast complaining about this show for a number of reasons. Let us begin with the ancient art of crumping. What is crumping with you?
I played and beat Clover Pit.
What is Clover Pit?
Clover Pit is a slot machine simulator. Roguelike. It's they've stripped all of the artifice away from what makes roguelites fun, and they just said, "You're here for the slot machine. Let's do the slot machine." And it's great. It's a pure fucking dopamine generator. It is. I think I may have played it for like 12 hours or something.
That was starting Friday night.
Yes, when I bought the game.
Yes, and now as of
Sunday.
recording, it is midday Sunday.
So, it's a fun game. It's a good game. It's not trying to sell you anything but what it is. I haven't gotten the secret ending yet, but I did get the proper roll credits ending just about an hour ago.
I like how people have started to say I rolled credits on as an explanation of I defeated in the lowest effort way. I enjoy that. That's a bit of modern slang I appreciate. I myself have been trying to play Visions of Mana, but have not succeeded for more than like 2 hours. It seems like a really fun game. My brain is just not... Oh my god, I didn't know that was an actual word. I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry here for JoJo's, and it says druggist. And I always said that as a joke.
No, that's just an old-timey term for like pharmacist.
Oh no. Anyway, yeah, it won't take, so I've just been playing the new Minecraft update. And watching this. I don't have in-depth... We watched the Pirates movies again, and the fifth one for the first time. We'll talk more about that in our end-of-year wrap-up, I'm sure. But the movie homework that we do. Yeah, so JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
So I actually have a different history than my friend White Raven with this series. I've never even tried to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm aware of it because I live on the internet and the memes, and I've seen bits of it, and the bits of it I've seen were pretty fun and cool. I've read a lot of various internet fiction that uses it as a reference point. A lot of people screaming the same syllable over and over while punching. And that has given me a bit of like sugar packets I think that's a reference to the Tick.
Simpsons.
Simpsons, thank you. No, Secret Message from My Teeth is a reference to the Tick. There we go. And it's given me a rough, like, osmosis level pop cultural understanding of the show. which left me thoroughly and fucking completely unprepared for the actual show.
I will say as well that I'm aware of the memes and I hate them. And that's a part of me that I'm trying really hard to deprogram. But when something is extremely popular and everyone sounds like SpongeBob levels of enthusiasm about it, SpongeBob being one of these things, my distaste for it increases rapidly. For every person who's like, you don't like JoJo, I want to choke. I never want to see the thing. I must kill. I am driven to kill.
White Raven has a deep, abiding, instinctual level hipster reflex. If something is too popular, it is bad.
Well, and I know what this is. This is actually getting real personal here on the Two Nerds podcast. Don't worry, somebody will come along and timestamp when the real podcast begins. This is trauma-based. There was a guy in middle school, 6th grade, for those of you international listeners, who was singing Fat Guy in a Little Coat. And I was a little sheltered as a youngster, and I was asking what that's from. And he very smugly went, oh, you know. But he refused to tell me. Now, as an adult looking back, I can recognize he did not know. And he was trying to hide that. But back then, it was formative enough that it became the core memory, as they say. And I've had such a hard time deprogramming from that since. So anytime anybody is strong referencing something that I haven't witnessed in its entirety, dude, the cake is a lie thing kept me from playing Portal for like 10, 15 years. And it was a great two great games. This is not a good thing I have.
No, the other option is he did know and he knew you didn't because you had told him and he had decided to fuck with you. And I don't like that reality because that means you've let this 6th grader live rent-free in your head for fucking 30 years.
Well, so it's... Why haven't you healed from this trauma yet, loser? I'm not firing back on the podcast. That's mean, but funny. I didn't realize that is what had caused it until like 2 years ago, maybe 3. And yeah, now that I'm here, on top of all the other reasons, what a stupid way to behave. But man, it's deep rooted in there. I got to get an extraction crew. So anyway, on top of the fact that I didn't think I'd care for it, and even the people who like JoJo get tired of the entire internet seeing a strong man and going, "That's a JoJo reference."
I mean, look, I got tired of it some years ago, and I've never seen the show. I don't have your instinct about it, but I also am enough of a hipster. I if something is popular enough, my instinct slowly becomes, I'm probably going to give it a pass.
Well, and I mean, more often than not, I'm a pretty good judge of what looks stupid for my personal tastes. And this specific season, the first 9 episodes of season 1 of the 2012 series looks stupid. But here we are. I was given the option to start from Stardust Crusaders, and no, I am being paid to do this by a very kind and generous patron who often goes months without requesting anything. So yes, we will be joeing the Joes.
Until he decides otherwise or we run out of it. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is going to be a regular occurrence. You know what we do in the shadows? It's that. But again, and this time it's way dumber.
I forgot to shade the hat band, and that's going to drive me nuts. Anyway, finally, here's your timestamp. This is where we get to the actual meat of the podcast.
We appreciate you, insufferable douchebags who do that. You're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, timestamp Coon, we love you. Thank you for, I don't know, driving up my most watched hump.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, why not? Thanks for the comment. So, gosh, do you want to describe... We're going to roughly go episode by episode, but I don't think it's going to be that deep of a commentary. It's more of an overall...
I don't think I have enough to say for a real deep commentary,
right.
So... should I start with the first episode?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we should do this in order, I think.
Okay. So, as I stated earlier, I know about JoJo. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the Joestar family, its many and various members, and the, as I am given to understand, most iconic villain, Dio. And...
which is also the name of our cat. Unrelated.
Yeah, he's named after Ronnie James Dio.
Unlike Dio, who was named after Ronnie James Dio.
So actually, very much like our cat, they're both named after James Dio.
And they're also both horrible little criminals.
Yeah. So I had a distant understanding of what this might be, and I was fully wrong. No one had told me this starts as like a Regency era young boys novel about two insufferable little rich boy twits having the most petty feud where one of them happens to be a ruthless sociopath and the other is like normal but also willing to deal with a ruthless sociopath because he lives in a time when I guess the other option is kill him.
This boy, at the age of like 14, decided he was going to be Ned Stark about his honor.
And it makes sense given the time period he's from and, you know, that this is an anime. But also, look, as I've aged, I feel like I had a bit of a overly dramatic male honor streak in my soul that has withered away. But even at my most insufferable about, you know, I am a man of my word sort of thing, even at my most, annoying about that, if someone had killed my dog, nah, fam, it's on site now.
Yeah, so
I'm taking you apart.
probably the coolest character in this show, in a vacuum, is Dio. In the first 9 episodes, I say again. We're going to cover this, chunk it up by manga series rather than actual Netflix season. I'm sure it started somewhere else, but we watched it on Netflix. Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag could be an ad. Hashtag won't be an ad. But like he makes his intro in the first episode kicking a dog to establish dominance, a perfectly nice dog.
It is literally the first thing he does.
A little bit later, after some other minor chicanery, he kisses a woman against her will, just to ruin her...
It's like the second thing he does.
Smooch virginity. There's some other small stuff in between there, but that's the second big spike. And then he ends the first episode by killing said dog. Actually, not even really. He puts the dog in the incinerator, and then the groundskeeper guy kills it accidentally.
He schemes to kill the dog. He killed that dog.
I mean, he did, but like, he also fucked up this groundskeeper because he was very mentally traumatized. He killed that
dog plus extra trauma.
Yeah.
Also, small correction. I just had to look it up because I am this person. I played Clover Pit for 6.8 hours.
It felt like 12 hours.
It was just so good. Anyway.
I tried to talk to this man all weekend, and it was nothing. And then I'd get a glut of responses once Clover Pit was finalized for the night. Yeah, Dio, as much as he's got swagger and such, he's too much of a douchebag. Like, I can enjoy a villain, but you don't kick a dog.
So it is literally called, there's a trope literally called kick the dog, where you have a villain do something pointlessly cruel to establish that you aren't supposed to sympathize with this person. They are the bad guy. And it's done very effectively here. But like everyone who talks about this show loves this fucking douchebag. Like, they all think he's so cool and he's so dope, and he is the worst. He sucks. Like, his intro is being the most pointlessly petty... Look, trying to scheme to take over a rich guy's family and usurp the heir to get rich when you grew up poor, that's a perfectly reasonable Victorian novel villain. This is not what I was told JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was, but it's a perfectly reasonable, like, villain motivation for someone in a Jane Austen novel. And that's fine. But, like, you are also a humongous douchebag.
Yeah, like, beyond... Like, I mean, you can kill a lot of people. I like the Joker. Joker don't kick a dog.
But he would.
It depends on the dog and how funny it would be.
Basically.
Yeah.
But like the combination of arrogant and treacherous and honorless and pompous and narcissistic. He has no redeeming qualities.
On the other hand, our primary character, Jonathan Joestar, is a wiener.
Yeah.
He's everything people who don't read or watch Superman content think Superman is. He is the strawman Superman.
He's got a very little personality.
And he's a dweeb. He's a wiener. Like, I'm not saying he has nerdy pursuits, how hypocritical of me on the Two Nerds podcast. I'm saying this guy is such a fucking dork in behavior. He plays rugby, and he's, he tries to fight for people's honor, and he has, justice in his heart, but he does it like a lame loser all the time. I kept trying to get into this show, and then it would, smash cut to this fucking dweeb in his little bow tie going, "I'll save the world for goodness and justice, me."
So this is where we need to get into something that I think is important. It doesn't happen for me until later, but we watched the first few episodes of this together, and we watched it with the dub, because my friend here doesn't like to read when he's watching television.
It's really hard for me to do just one thing.
And that's valid. I'm not here to...
Especially with a show I'm not enjoying. I'm struggling to enjoy. Let me put it that way.
But when I went and watched the remaining few episodes, I think the back 4, by myself, I watched it with subs. Japanese audio and English subs. And he's way less lame. He is significantly less lame. It's a timbre thing. It's a tone issue.
Well, sure, but it's transliterated. I'm sure he's exactly that lame in Japan, just not in ways we understand. And he did also stop being as lame in those last 4 episodes. Like, I took a break, time is what it is, and finished it a few days later, and I still had it on the dub. And he still had kind of a wienery voice, but he was a lot easier to stomach. Now, maybe that's because I had been inundated to it, inoculated to it, and come to understand it or accept it or whatever. I wasn't rooting for the guy, but he wasn't annoying me every time he did his dumb shtick.
To be fair, he also does start as like a turbo dandy.
Yes.
Like...
Except not enough of a dandy to, trigger my fondness for him. He's sitting in this magical nexus.
He could be a little sillier. If he was a little bit more foppish, you'd love him.
I would. It wouldn't take much.
Notably, when a little guy who is more foppish, but with the same overall, deal shows up, you like him a lot more.
It didn't start that way. But yeah, so we described the first episode, and the second one, we learned that Dio is slowly poisoning their father, his adopted father, and John's real birth father. Again,
great for, I cannot express to you how much this show is the portrait of Dorian Gray plus, a shonen anime doing, the Dragon Ball Z fusion dance. It is ridiculous how exacting this is for overly dramatic, self-serious Victorian novel with homoerotic undertones, plus, and then they punch.
So Jonathan goes off to London to try to figure out where this poison is coming from and how it's working and all that sort of thing. He has to fight a bunch of thugs. Among them, I don't know if he's just supposed to be lower English or Australian or some magical new accent, but we meet Robert E.O. Speedwagon, who attacks with his chapeau, which he never uses again.
No. Well, because JoJo broke it.
And there's been no time in the interim to repair that.
No, it was his shtick. And then he was defeated as a villain, and his shtick became...
Be on the sidelines and describe what JoJo is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's portrayed as, honorable lower class. In contrast to the superpowered nobility that are the protagonists of this show. This guy is their delightful peasant sidekick. I'm going to skip over the implications of that. But he's his accent is meant to be low class English, but for some reason, no one who makes the English version of this show knows what that is.
His voice actor is prolific and skilled. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I looked it up while we were watching because I was curious to see if it was just some schmo who didn't know what they were doing. But no, he does. So this was direction.
This is the future they chose.
Yes, and so this is where we enter into the place where, much like Dragon Ball, it is at least a scoop of satire going on here.
Somebody at some level, I don't think it was I'm reasonably certain it wasn't the original creator. As far as I know, he does not think this is a joke. He takes this very seriously. But somewhere, someone along the line realized how fucking dumb this show is. In a delightful way. I want to be clear. I'm heaping a lot of criticism. I was having a fun time. Like, the kind of painful fun time where you're like, what is happening? Why are you doing this? And then you're riffing with your friends.
I had all of that except for the fun part. This is... Okay, this is an important time to interject. By and large, I don't like shonen anime. I'm sure there's like one or two I've seen that I really enjoyed, but like those are the exceptions that define the rule. I don't. I never liked Dragon Ball. I only have a favorite Dragon Ball character and appreciate Vegeta in the same way that people who don't read comic books have a favorite superhero. It's just so saturated in the media.
And also, I have been caping for Vegeta in our conversations for 20 years.
He will never replace Piccolo. Piccolo is the best Dragon Baller. This is true.
And that's fair and valid. But my boy needs his propers. Anyway, I imagine you're not a big fan of like novels about emotionally restrained young dandies staring at each other with deep, abiding passion. That's definitely just about fighting, I swear. That's not a big thing in your life either?
Maybe if they were like an orc and a tiefling and they started a bakery, and that might be okay. But this is, no, not quite enough.
Okay, fair enough.
Give me the fanfic, don't actually do this, where Dio and JoJo start a bakery together.
God, it would be very funny.
I'm sure it exists.
But
anyway, the critical thing in this episode is that we discover that a stone mask that JoJo's mom had is a vampire, and it turns people into vampires. And Dio's like, fucking sick. This sounds like a great thing to have. We move on to the next episode, where he actually confronts Dio, JoJo does, and they have a big fight. He kills the dad using the mask to become a vampire with the dad's blood, and they burn down the mansion.
Yeah, this is where things start to actually get interesting to me. For the show, because now there's like big stakes. It's not just the pointless feud of two rich boys in the 1800s or whatever.
And I would agree that the stakes ramped up, and it continued to do this for several episodes where I was like, oh, I'm getting invested. And then it would make sure to point at me and go, stop it. Look how stupid this is.
Don't you dare. But it's actually a fun thing because JoJo, who's been portrayed as kind of a meathead up until this point, perfectly like foils Dio's plot. Completely has him down for the count. Has witnesses. Gets the cops. Dio loses. He's going to be arrested. And then he like tries to, again, because he has literally no redeeming characteristics, tries everything in his he can possibly think of to get out of it, up to and including, fine, if I have to die, I'm going to kill JoJo and take him with me. And then I'm going to use this mask and his blood to become a vampire. And then the father nobly sacrifices himself. Dio becomes a vampire. And now they're fighting a vampire. And it's much cooler.
We pick up in the next episode, introducing Zeppeli, who was probably my favorite character in this season. This is the episode where Dio recruits Jack the Ripper to be his zombie slave.
Not a character who hangs around for a long time.
No, but
kudos to this show for not making Dio Jack the Ripper.
He does emerge from a dead horse.
Yeah, look, he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but he maximizes his minutes.
Zeppeli teaches JoJo about Hamon, which is breath, wind, ripple magic, ninja martial arts.
It's key. Don't think about it too much.
Right. Yeah, so they fight Jack the Ripper. Well, just mostly JoJo does. And it's pretty neat, I guess. He has special moves to announce now. You like that, I guess, in your shonens?
In a shonen, you want special moves to yell.
Then next episode, we are introduced to a boy I don't know why he's there named Poco.
To have a kid sidekick.
Okay.
That is why.
All right. And then the powerful zombie knights Tarkus and Bruford.
Bruford is a G.
Yeah,
coolest
I like
fucking character in the anime.
These fights last over a couple of episodes, but JoJo has a cool, pretty honorable battle with some flashbacks against Bruford. Bruford gives him a sword of luck and pluck, which is stupid.
So he had like a cool sword that he could use to channel his energy, and JoJo can use to channel his energy that is engraved with luck that his queen gave to him before his doomed, fate. All dope, all cool, great world building. Then, and just before I die, allow me to add my own. And then he fucking uses his own blood to draw a little P before the word luck. And that is the anime looking at you and going, I can see you getting invested about how good this is. Don't you dare.
The sad thing.
Don't you forget where you are.
For both my estimation of myself as a person and, how close we were to greatness, is if he had instead drawn over the L with an F and gone there, now it says fuck, and that's a cool word, and dies.
That's way better. At least then you also know that.
I'm like, hell yeah, he got the fuck sword now.
Yeah, the DOE is gonna get that fuck sword. And then the subtext gets slightly more textual.
I've known people who use subtext and they're all cowards. So yeah, then we go to a cliffside castle, which is a pretty cool zone, pretty cool area. It's like buried in the cliff where they used to train the knights, the dark knights that JoJo is fighting here. Dio's just hanging out watching. He doesn't want to fight. He's bored. I think he leaves at one point to be like, I'm going to make some more zombies and torture some innocents. I'll see you guys later. But JoJo gets trapped in the castle fighting Tarkus. And they're both attached to a chain in the ceiling. And he's choking him out.
Cool setup for a fight.
Yeah, it's pretty decent, I have to admit. A chain neck death match, they call it. So, this is when I'm slowly getting more and more invested in this show over the last
I remember this moment. This was this is gonna live in my spirit. This is in my soul.
So, Zappelli's like, he's like, this is it. This is the time my master prophesied about when I would meet my demise. And I have found a worthy heir of my power, of Hamon, and this is acceptable. He is the young stallion, or whatever they called him.
Young lion.
Young lion, yeah. It's Japanese. What else would they call it?
Yeah.
So he's getting ready to sacrifice himself, but we need the flashback first about how he met and trained under his master, Tonpetty. And I had to stop the anime. I had to stop the show. In fact, at the time, I believe I paused it, and my compatriot looked at me, and with tragic desperation in my eyes, I said, I gotta stop for a second. Because this is the shit I'm talking about, where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of trying to get into this. Cool fights, cool concepts. Allow me to regale you with the tale of my master, Tonpetty.
Leader of the Heartbreaker sect of ancient monks.
I like reference names. This is breaking a rule, okay? I did e-fetting for a long time and like similar internet stuff. You gotta put some zhuzh on it. You gotta twist it a little bit. Thomas Pettyford,
it's the yoink and twist.
Yeah.
You gotta twist. Otherwise, if I have a thing and I want to reference Sherlock Holmes as like the guy who trained my detective character in detecting, right? That's a thing I want to do. I shouldn't just name the character Sherlock Holmes. That's definitely not what I should do.
And it's just so anachronistic. Like, for whatever reason, Speedwagon didn't mess with me. It was a stupid name, but he's a street tough. They have actual wagons. All right, I can deal with it. And they don't say it the same way they say Tonpetty.
All right. They say the difference is they say Speedwagon with their chest.
Yes.
That guy's name is Speedwagon, and when they talk to him, it's like Speedwagon, go do this. Speedwagon, go do that. They don't say Oreo Speedwagon, go do this.
Right.
But they say it with pride. They say it with knowledge of what they're doing.
Whereas when Zeppeli introduces Tom Petty, he says it like, and then I trained under my great master, Tom Petty.
They try to say it as quick and low and like skip over because they know the people who voice acted these lines know what they just said.
Oh my! So
I loved this moment. This is the moment that made me love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
we had to stop after this.
It broke me. We're off the edge of the map now. It's too far. Okay, I understand the assignment now. My apologies for giving you... My apologies for not understanding what I was getting into. Now I get it. We can move forward.
For me, it's still riding that line of it's not being serious enough that I can take it seriously, and it's not being goofy enough that I can just laugh at it. I'm getting whiplash every 4 minutes in this show.
That is fully because the person who makes this is not joking. The person who makes the mangaka, is not joking. Everyone else is laughing at him.
It's like Tommy Wiseau if people did take him seriously somehow.
If everyone's like, no, let him cook.
Yeah.
And they all got out of his way and did their best to lift up and show you his true vision. But the same way you show someone like The Room and go, look. But like it's not putting down. It is a genuine appreciation for how authentically fucking nutbars this guy is.
So yeah, Zeppeli gets cut in half, and he talks a lot after that.
Early in this show, you hit him with the "they say much in one leap." Yes,
I did. Yeah.
Talking as a free action is fully in place. Characters are allowed to have their dramatic moment and their dramatic speech anytime they'd like it. Everyone stands quietly and lets them do their thing. Talking in this show is yelling and doing your transformation sequence in DBZ. No one stops you. Maybe they could. They're not going to. That would be... it's not done. It's simply not done.
It's an anime. I joke, but I'm only so... shocked by it or whatever.
Look, there is a line where it becomes goofy, and man cut fully in half, doing deep breathing exercises to keep himself, conscious enough to do his little speech, is past it. It's past it, guys. His diaphragm's on the other side of the fucking room.
Anyway, yeah, even the cats are feeling the JoJo energy.
Muda.
Guys, could you knock it off, please? They have declined. So we move on. They're all very sad. Fucking a mile down the road, they meet Tom Petty and his homies Dyer and Strizo.
Who were here to help and arrived just very slightly too late. And Tom Petty's like, yeah, well, even if we got here earlier, he still would have died. I prophesized it. It's locked in.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. You're the young lion? Well, sick. This all actually worked out.
Yeah.
Good prophecy.
Good job, me.
So they go in and fight Dio and his new zombie, Doobie, who was very cool design-wise.
The dreaded Doobie.
The dreaded Doobie.
I should note, from the episode where Zeppeli dies on forward, I am watching subs.
This is where I picked up, and some days had passed, and I was kind of feeling the vibe, which is ironic because Zeppeli was my favorite character. Zeppeli, I don't remember how they pronounce it. It's Led Zeppelin.
You don't remember.
Led Zeppelin.
You don't remember because they don't give a shit.
Right. So, he was the one I had grown the most fond of. He had swagger. I hated his hat, and then I grew to love his hat.
He was too cool to live.
And Speedwagon also liked the hat.
Speedwagon was like, no, I'm copping this chapeau.
That is too good to stay
I lost my last chapeau. I'm keeping this one.
So, yeah, a big confrontation fight with Dio and his armies. And Like, I will say I do like the fucked up monsters. I think those were a pretty cool addition, and they really helped me sink into the fiction a little bit more. Even when they had names like Doobie, which I get is a Doobie Brothers reference.
You are simply gonna have to fucking lock in about those.
But it's Doobie. I mean,
you if you are to enjoy this show at all, you are gonna have to fucking let go your conscious self and just let it wash over you. Lie back and think of England, because they don't stop. The hits keep coming. Okay?
I'm learning. I'm being taught actively by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure how to perform that technique. I am mastering my own hamon before they inevitably take it away from me in a season.
Yours is a deep breath before the next unbelievable fucking reference name.
Welcome, the new character, Red Hot Chili Pepper. He's red hot.
There's 80% likelihood that is just straight up a name of a character in the show.
We'll find out. So yeah, it's a cool fight. I'm not gonna go blow by blow or anything. We're already a little over time.
It's a cool anime fight.
Yeah.
Dio's been a vampire for a week and a half, and he has fully unlocked Dracula magic. We're moving past it.
I just realized that his Chinese apothecary druggist friend is named Wang Chen.
Yep. There you go. It's all about the breath. It's all about the ham. Get that pork breathing in, friend.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, they killed Dio. His body melts. He's definitely dead. Totally dead. Uatu the Watcher comes by and says, yes, this was definitely Dio, and he's definitely dead. It wasn't a clone or a Doombot or anything.
So anyway, next episode.
Yeah, next episode is a little bit later. JoJo and the girl that Dio kissed get married.
Speedwagon gets to smash the mask with a hammer, which was a good bit because, like, he had taken Zeppelin's little top hat, and Zeppeli just really wanted to destroy that mask, and Speedwagon made sure that got done. Good for you, bud.
Zeppeli was part of the crew that found it. So he kind of blamed himself for all of its evils. And they go on a boat for their honeymoon, and that's where Dio's head is, with Wang Chen. And then Dio does a bunch of fuck shit and kills JoJo, and also Dio dies. And that's the end of Phantom Blood arc. The end.
Yeah, Dio is trying to take over JoJo's body.
Yeah.
And JoJo and Dio die, with JoJo lovingly cradling Dio's head, talking about how he does feel a kinship and friendship with him, really, while firmly telling his lady that he's definitely been in love with this whole time to get the fuck out. I have to hang out with my soulmate Dio.
Well, and he does so to preserve her life, because he is echoing what he said in the beginning. He wants to be the kind of gentleman that protects a lady, and that's how he goes out.
I am memeing a little bit. Any longtime listener to this podcast, you will know that I am not the guy who's like, and they were gay is the funniest and best thing you can do with any two male characters who happen to be friends or rivals. I don't actually like that trope very much. So I don't levy these accusations lightly, but come the fuck on, man. I have never seen a show less interested in women.
As I understand it, we'll get there. And those will be some very feminine-looking women, I'm sure. Final thoughts on the Phantom Blood arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's wife is pregnant. There will be another Jo. Duh.
Really fun. I didn't have a lot positive to say, because a lot of the positive that exists is not stuff you talk about. It's just cool fight scenes, aura, to use the modern terminology. And
I think even back then it was aura.
Like, it's just a lot of cool poses, a lot of cool fight scenes, dumb as fucking rocks, and it doesn't know it, but everyone else does. And I don't know, there's something to that has a fun draw. I'm looking forward to watching more of this.
When did this originally come out? Because I know it's been around forever. Okay, 2002 was a 3-volume collection. 1987 this started. We've come a long way. Poor Danny the dog is on the cover of that Phantom Blood collection. That's too bad for Danny. Man, so like it is like watching a revamped version of a Relic. You know, there is that aspect to it. I didn't care for this, but I am hoping that, much like wading into a swimming pool, which gosh I haven't done in 20 years, eventually I will get acclimated to the temperature and it will feel nice. And also, if we have a hero who isn't Jonathan in terms of behavior and whatnot, I might be able to cling on to them and let that carry me through a little bit better.
I have terrible news.
What's that?
I'm going to show him something on my phone and you're going to hear his reaction.
Yeah, I know. He's got a big dick.